Good morning from the loft. This video is going to be about an amazing new piece of gear that I've purchased. And look, our host Lemon has joined us. As I was saying, this video is going to be about an amazing new piece of gear that I have recently purchased and started using that is helpful for me, but is mainly going to be more helpful for other people because I am a snorer. That's my confession. I snore. And I don't know why I'm calling it a confession because a huge portion of humanity snores for various reasons. My children started telling me about my terrible snoring problem, gosh, before I moved away from South Florida. So I've been hearing about my snoring since 2009 and have lived many years in denial and just, doing what every person does, like, what are you talking about? I don't believe you. I don't snore. Come on. That's ridiculous. I'm a tiny, adorable human woman. There's no way that I snore. And then they would tell me, Mom, you snore like a bear. It sounds horrible. It's ridiculous. And yeah, I didn't believe them. And then I moved in with a friend in 2011 because I was saving up money to go and volunteer with Mercy Ships. And this friend of mine is a very light sleeper, and I think after the very first night that I stayed with her, she immediately came to me and said, Michelle, we're gonna have to do something about your snoring. I couldn't sleep all night long. And I was like, wait, when I had outside confirmation from a friend that I, in fact, do snore, then I took it seriously. So the only thing I knew to try at that point in time was Breathe Right strips. The little sticky things that you put on the outside of your nose. And they definitely made a difference. My friend said she couldn't hear me snoring through the bedroom wall anymore. So the whole time that I stayed with her, I was using Breathe Right strips. The problem with Breathe Right strips, though, is the adhesive started to really make my skin sore on my nose. In the meantime, I had never actually heard what I sound like snoring. And I have used the Breathe Right strips off and on over the years since that time period. I spent a few weeks with my best friend in California, and we were in the same room sleeping because she lives in a studio apartment. And she also said to me, like, your snoring is keeping me awake. And so I wore Breathe Right strips for that period of time that we spent together. And again, my skin just hates that adhesive. And they definitely help and quiet my snoring, but it's not perfect. And then after that trip, the next time I went to stay with her when she had surgery, that was when I had turned the inside of the 4Runner into a little micro camper. Instead of staying in the apartment with her, I stayed in the 4Runner in the parking lot of her apartment complex. No problem. So now it is March. I am planning this section hike on the Appalachian Trail where I'm sure I'm going to encounter people because it's going to be May on the Appalachian Trail, and there are going to be a lot of people on the Appalachian Trail, whether they're through hikers, backpackers, section hikers, you know, the whole gamut. I'm going to run into people. And if I want to stay in hostels, in bunk rooms, in shared spaces, I'm back to the dilemma of being really self-conscious and embarrassed by the snoring. So the first thing I had to figure out is, how bad does my snoring actually sound? I think the first thing I did was go on YouTube and look for recommendations about snoring. And I think that's how I discovered this app called SnoreLab. They have a free version and a paid version. Actually, you turn it on and it records your breathing all night long. And this was the first time I've ever actually heard my own snoring, and it is really, really bad. It sounds horrible. And that just makes me more self-conscious. Like, how can I remedy this problem? Happily, I don't think I have sleep apnea. I think I just snore. And I think the reason I snore is because my nose is not always stuffy, but I think my nostrils are small, and when I take a deep breath through my nose, you can see my nostrils collapse. And maybe this happens to everybody? I don't know. So it stands to reason that if I'm not breathing well through my nose at night, I'm going to open my mouth and breathe through my mouth. And snoring is mostly happening when you breathe through your mouth. You know, it's the vibration of air over all your soft tissues. And then the deeper you sleep, the more relaxed the soft tissues become and the louder the snoring is. The great thing about this app called SnoreLab, and if you ever want to know and are curious about how bad you sound when you're sleeping at night because somebody tells you you're snoring and you don't believe them, download SnoreLab. And then you'll have the proof that you need. But inside the app, they also you can plug in factors as to why you think you're snoring, and then they give you tips on what you can do to lessen your snoring, and they also recommend different products and gadgets that you can try to decrease your snoring, and that's how I found this piece of gear. This is what I've gotten. It's from a company called Rhinomed, and it's called Mute. Breathe more, snore less, sleep better. So let me start off by saying that it does not take away 100% of the snoring, but it has decreased my snoring dramatically. This little device has been a real game changer. So this is what it looks like up close. This is a nasal dilator that you actually stick inside your nose. And now this might be the only thing that is a downfall for people because they can't get past sticking something inside their nose. The first time I bought a trial pack. It was $14.99. I bought it from Amazon, and it comes with small, medium, and large so that you can figure out the size that works for you. And then you can buy the size that works for you. And my size is medium because even though I'm a tiny person, the inside of my nose must just be huge. And then all you do is take this thing and you stick it in your nostrils. And you push it up against your septum. And then look, you can tell people you have your septum pierced. Be like the cool kids. But look at this. Now, so it's pushing my nostrils open from the inside and opening up all the soft tissue. And so when I breathe really hard, like I did earlier, my nostrils do not collapse at all. And then you just pull it out, rinse it off. It's made out of this soft silicone. And then if you look closely here, you can actually adjust these and open them up and make them wider, or close them up and make them narrow. And I have found, like, the medium is literally perfect. I didn't have to adjust these flanges at all. This is perfect. And then I bought the 3-pack of medium, which cost like 20 bucks on Amazon, which is kind of pricey, especially when you consider that the company says you should only use one of these for 10 days. And they give you a 3-pack, which is for 30 nights. This is so durable that if you keep this clean, and because I'm not opening and closing the flanges, this is gonna last way more than 10 nights. I've already been using it. I think last night might have been night number 10, and it's in perfect condition. The reviews on Amazon have a lot of people saying that theirs didn't work for more than 3 nights. The flanges, you know, like that it just got so loose that it started falling out of their noses. I have not had an issue whatsoever. Also remember that not every product is gonna work for every person. There's a lot of trial and error, just like finding, you know, good hiking shoes. There's a lot of trial and error, just like finding the perfect backpack. Not every product is gonna work for every person. Between this and really thinking about the position that I'm sleeping in, I have seen a huge difference. The proof is on the SnoreLab. It doesn't take away 100% of the snoring, but it has quieted the snoring when I do snore. It has quieted the volume of my snoring dramatically. So I'm gonna be wearing this pretty much all the time now, even in my own apartment, because I paid for the SnoreLab upgrade so that I can track it over time. And also, I bought this for the rest of the world. You're welcome. Yeah, so if you're a snorer, check out those 2 things. SnoreLab, the app SnoreLab, and the Rhinomed Mute. nasal dilator thingy. I really hope this was helpful for you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.